Hey friends, it's PJ from the Prize Podcast. I had the distinct pleasure of going down to the Military Influencer Conference, lovingly known as MIC, in Atlanta just a couple weeks ago. For those of you who are unfamiliar with MIC, it's the largest single gathering of entrepreneurs, leaders, and creatives in the military space. There were some amazing speakers, we met some incredible people, and there was even a comedy night. Huge shout out to the MIC event staff for hooking us up with the media pass. This allowed us to set up our cameras so we could conduct some spot interviews to hear from some of the participants about what they thought the most important things to focus on when it came to transitioning out of the military. We heard some great things, and I just wanted to share them with you. Let's go ahead and dive in. I would love to know from you, if you had one piece of advice for someone who's making that transition right now out of the service into civilian life or their loved ones, what that might be.
Okay. So for me, the big thing is not doing it alone. Right. We talk a lot about remembering that you're a part of a tribe, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
The transition is one of those points in life where it's confusing, it's overwhelming, and we often get that idea of like, oh man, well, I'm all by myself here trying to figure this out, right? And sometimes you get that feeling for your unit too, because you kind of get this feeling like you're getting shuffled out because you're leaving, right?
Yeah.
And you got all the identity, all that stuff that you're dealing with. But if you remember that your tribe is there to help, one thing I love to do is expend social capital for others, right? So you decide you want to get into, the finance industry, right? And you're just randomly sending messages on LinkedIn to people that you have no connections with, and they're like, nope, right? Or they get a message from me that says, hey, here's Dan, here's his background, I'd love for you to connect, right? Now that person's like, oh, okay, well, in essence, I've vouched for you, right? And got you to have the conversation.
Right.
And now you get to have that talk with someone. So I think for me, that's the big thing, is just remembering that you have people in your corner. Don't try and do it by yourself. Let us help, right? Because there's so many of us out here who have walked that. We've walked that path. We've done the struggle, right? I mean, transition never ends, right? So we're still
never ends. That's right.
But we're at a point further along the path where we can probably help you figure out which stones to step on as you're going, right?
Sure. And how do you go about, if you were someone, getting out, how would you go about finding someone like you who is willing to help out?
Well, events like Military Influence Conference, right? Being able to get there. And honestly, it's just asking. One thing that I was taught was, I'd sit down with you, we have a cup of coffee, and we kind of get some background. And I always end it with, hey, do you have 3 or 4 people that you recommend and maybe I should talk to? Right? Because back that thing about remembering you're there.
Yeah.
Right? And now I let you go, oh, actually, you should talk to, these people.
Yeah.
And then that second question is, would you be willing to make an introduction for me?
Yeah, buddy. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. So, all right, events. Great. I totally get that. What about that one person who's just hanging out in Bumble, Alabama or something like that?
I think that's where you focus on something like LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay. LinkedIn, people, feel certain sorts of ways about it, but if you use it correctly, and remember, it's a professional platform. It's not Facebook. It's not TikTok, right? Present yourself well on there. Maybe talk to a coach. And there's so many out there that are free. Wounded Warrior Project does it. There's a bunch that will help you make sure your profile looks good, right? And then that's where you start having those conversations. And if I can get connected with you, right? And then now maybe you'll help me connect with someone else, right? So I think LinkedIn is such a powerful platform for that, to be able to have those conversations. But again, remember, you're not doing it by yourself.
That's right.
Let somebody help you make sure that your profile looks good, things are set up well, and that you're going to present yourself well when you're having those conversations, and then start working the system.
Yeah, buddy. It's funny you say that. I think that's how we met, was LinkedIn.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It is. It's a very, very powerful tool. And in fact, my first job getting out of the military was through LinkedIn, just because I got that advice early on. It was go out and connect with as many people as you possibly can in the field that you're looking for.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Even veterans.
Yeah.
It's on their profile. Connect with them. And most people are willing to help.
Yeah.
I have found.
Yeah.
So you're in the state of Tennessee.
Yes.
What are some organizations or some platforms within Tennessee if someone needed to get help there?
So there's several. The biggest one, and Tennessee's, we're split into 3 grand divisions. So we've got, east, west, and middle.
Right. Oh, interesting.
And so in middle, we have Operation Stand Down Tennessee. And so it's the state's largest, veteran serving nonprofit. But they help with career placement, they help with, benefits, all kinds of stuff, right? So that's probably the biggest one. And there are other organizations like that in the other grand divisions. But, it's that piece right there is such a huge part of being able to get the help, because now you may have already moved there or you're
Yeah.
considering there. Again, reach out to an organization like that and have a talk with them, right? We talked about talking one-on-one, but now I call them and say, hey, my family's considering moving there. Can I get some advice? Can you connect me with some people, right? And let them help tie you in with that.
Okay. What about like on the government side of things? Is there anywhere to plug in there?
Yeah, so the state of Tennessee, we do have, some veteran hiring stuff with the Tennessee state government. And for us, it's just going through our Department of Human Resources, Labor and Workforce Development.
Got it.
And so we've got, we're tied in with USA Job Centers.
Yeah.
So there's counselors all throughout the state that have specific teammates that are tied into helping military members and veterans as they're, figuring out what their next chapter is.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest one, is tying in with something like that. And being able to go there. And for us, if you go to if you were just to Google the Tennessee Department of Veteran Services, they've got all the links on there to drive you to different places to go and find that information.
I think that's actually a very valuable point, right? And that if there's nothing else that you can find, you can look to find the Department of the State and people there to help you, because the organizations exist there. So if you live in a state where it's really, really hard to come by, at the very least, you can plug into the government of the state.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful, my friend.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for coming out and sharing your insights. Chris brings out a really great point here, right? Is that, and we've heard this again, but, don't do it alone, right? There are people out there to help you. Whether it's a community event that you can go to. I mean, I know even just here in Pennsylvania, in Lehigh Valley, we have all of these events, that we've gone to that are focused on the veteran. You have walks for wellness. You have, Vet Fest and other such things where we bring a large part of the community together, and we celebrate our service. We celebrate the things that we did for this country. And the cool thing is you're getting a huge, range of a demographic. You're having people from the Vietnam era. You have people from the Gulf War era. There's all of these people that we're bringing together to say, hey, look, we're in this together. We're not alone. We understand this plight, right? So get plugged in. And even if it's something like the government, I mean, that was a fantastic point. If you're in the middle of nowhere, it's a very good chance that you have something like your local state government that has benefits and other programs for the military. There's very few states that don't have something. So go and find yours.